What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I keep hearing this Sweet Baby Inc. talk. Now, many of you know that I've actually addressed this particular aspect because with Suicide Squad, it got discovered that apparently this consulting firm is working or did work with Warner Brothers and Rocksteady on the Suicide Squad game. However, there is something that I also wanted to go ahead and point out. You guys already know my position. I've already said that if these kinds of companies are coming in to, foster representation in video games or make it more, in line with modern audiences and whatever, I think it's all a facade because I'd rather, and this is my position, somebody represent my interests or the interests of those that are marginalized in real life, like providing real opportunities for them, rather than try to come do it in a video game because it lines their pockets. They're only grandstanding. That's all it is. If we throw them in the trenches to actually come in and do the work, like work in a soup kitchen or whatever it is, I don't think they have it in them. Some of you disagreed with me. Some of you had, different aspects to say, and I came from my perspective. If you want to watch that video, I've left the link in the description, and I actually was countering David Haffey's point on that. But there is one thing many fans have not necessarily done yet, which is actually point out that Sweet Baby was, if they were consulting with Rocksteady, we had people like Stephen Hill and Jamie Walker actually sit there and continue to make this game. I keep seeing people say, oh, the OG Rocksteady team has left. So I went ahead and found the end credits for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And right here, it says creative director Stephen Hill, studio director Jamie Walker, game director Axel Ridby, and Ian Ball, and all design director, and all of these people, Tim Hannigan, technical director, and a bunch of them, Nick Arundel, audio director. So you had the OG team actually work here and pretty much ship this game. These are the names I recognize. I recognize Nick Arundel from the Arkham games. His soundtracks are fantastic. They're phenomenal. And many of you know Stephen Hill and Jamie Walker. Now, they left the studio after everything was said and done. But we must not just leave it at say, oh, it's Sweet Baby, because they also have a responsibility to this game. And I think many of the fans are playing this, word salad like, oh, it's going to be nice to see what they're cooking up in a new studio. Ladies and gentlemen, they sat there while they were sanctioning that the characters be treated the way that they're treated, that fans are complaining about. So I just wanted to go ahead and say, I'm not certain that you're really going to see much different from whatever it is that 100 Stars, which is Jamie Walker and Stephen Hill's new studio, are actually whipping up. You see, the money in game development leans towards these kinds of things because that's exactly where people apparently in the corporate world want to go. They want to go this direction of constantly, pushing the needle, changing the norms. And they're the ones with the money. And if you're going to run a studio with 100 developers and you're going to be looking for funding, you're more than likely going to be looking for funding from the exact same or similar circles that are going to require or demand these things. So let's not mince words or act like there's any kind of hope that all these things are going to change. So what I'm proposing is that we as, gamers and those of us who are creatives within our circle in the superhero space, we need to start pushing out our own stories. We need to start pushing out our own medium. I've been working in the shadows secretly, making my own video game. It's been a very rough process. It's still in the ground level, and I'm still doing a lot of different aspects of, putting things together and making things legitimate. And I can tell you that it's not the most pretty, process. But somebody's got to do it. Someone's got to really do something. And my attempt may fail because I'm not a seasoned writer or whatever it is. But I strongly believe that, we cannot take the approach of, oh, well, it's going to be something that somebody else will come and do for multi-million dollars, when in reality, the multi-million dollar studios are not really concerned about fanfare. That's the one thing that's constantly missing. Some people say, well, it seems like it doesn't have a soul. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about soul. It's fanfare. You want a game that celebrates your heroes and celebrates your protagonists. That's what you're asking for. And so by the grace of God, that's what I want to do. I want to make a hero. I want to make stories that actually celebrate the main characters, even though the main characters may not necessarily, always be these amazing characters. You still want to make sure that these characters, they're capable of drawing in an audience that likes them, an audience that's basically able to celebrate their strengths and see their weaknesses, as something that they can learn from and they can grow from. But I'm seeing a lot of folk make this mistake thinking that things are really going to change because Stefan and Jamie went to a whole different studio. I'm not that confident. Now, I'm not saying things couldn't change, but remember, for them to develop a game like, Spider-Man 2, which is a licensed game, that cost Insomniac a lot of money. But Insomniac is a Sony company, and for those of you who saw the leaks and the extent within which everything went, they were working with Sweet Baby. They were doing diversity training. I'm black. I laugh at that kind of stuff. If you don't like it, I mean, that's your own position, but I think it's a waste of time. They could, basically channel those resources in helping people that are actually marginalized. They can take all that money and basically help people that are in need. Instead, they sit here and they think that they can actually, in a sense, make a difference in entertainment by actually, and this is a sneakish way, they come in with this so-called good intentions, but they subvert everything that is already established with the fans. It's weird. It's wild. And I think, in my opinion, that the way that we're going to change things is that we're going to have to start writing our own books. We're going to have to start drawing our own comics. Those of you who are artists, I say hit the paper, hit the pen, or hit your pencils. I'm not an artist. And I think we're going to see a difference. Because at the end of the day, these IPs, these characters that we have a connection to from us being kids, they're no longer in the hands of their original creators for the most part. You will notice, though, that if the original creators are still alive, there's still a level of respect in some areas, not all of them, but there's still a level of respect. Look at Star Wars. Look at what Star Wars fans are saying about Star Wars. It's no longer really in the hands of the creator. Even though the creator so-called is consulting, it doesn't seem like what the creator of Star Wars would do. A lot of what's been written in the last few years doesn't seem like what George Lucas would have written. Maybe it is what he would have written, but he didn't write anything like that when he wrote his original Star Wars pieces, right? Harry Potter at the moment still has J.K. Rowling here. So with all the controversy, they're still sticking with the script or whatever, right? But you can notice that if it wasn't for her position, they would have probably tried. I don't know what would have happened, but you guys understand the controversies around her. So when you start thinking about that, you don't have Stan Lee anymore, so it's free game. You don't have Bob Kane and people who wrote these other heroes, so it's free game. They can do whatever it is that they want because they've never gone through the sweat of the creativity. And I'm saying this from the writing perspective. I want to separate and also make sure that people who are in the animation side, the programming and all the other sides that don't have anything to do with all that. I'm not trying to criticize the combat team or whatever. You guys were doing your job. They gave you a task, you executed. The gameplay for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is amazing. It's actually pretty good for a shooter. But still, fanfare, in my opinion, has to, in a sense, coexist with good entertainment and good gameplay. And I know many people are saying, but this is the Suicide Squad. This is the way they behave and all that stuff. I get it, but what you guys are not seeing is a lack of consistency in the story. Many of you, if you say that, right? Let's look at Harley and Batman, and I'm going to end this video. Do you remember when Harley first saw Batman? When she saw that statue of Batman, or when she first knew Batman came into that little museum? What was her demeanor compared to at the end of the whole cycle when she actually was the one, spoiler warning, who took out Batman? She did not seem upset with him. She did not seem bothered about him in that particular context. She was literally like, all right, guys, calm down, guys. It's Bruce. He's not going to do anything. She was happy that Batman showed up. And then all of a sudden, the turnaround, boom, that to me shows that there was, in my opinion, some kind of crazy madness that went on. I know many of you are saying, it's a Suicide Squad, but you need to look at the story and you need to look at the tempo. Pay very close attention. You'll know what I'm saying. So that's my video for now. If you want to continue these conversations, if you want to play Suicide Squad, join the Discord. We have a conversation going on all the time. We have LFGs, and people will be happy to run you through the game and all of that good stuff. But like I said, I think we need to continue to look into how we can start creating our own forms of entertainment, crowdsourcing our own video games that tell really good stories, and put new characters out there on the map that are not going to be sullied by people who don't necessarily give a hoot about these characters. I mean, look at Spider-Man. How many Spider-Man fans are beaming with joy at the treatment of Peter Parker? Not many of you. I've seen all your videos and from all your content creators. They're over there saying how Spider-Man is a mess. This is their words, not mine. I can pull up many videos right now. But I'll stop the conversation here. Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you guys' time and audience. Peace out.